Welcome back. Today we'll wrap up our discussion of the days of the week with Sunday. We'll talk about a soon-to-be U.S. state, a daring performer, a stunning glacial valley, a singer-songwriter, a song and a quote. Now, for the rest of this week and possibly longer, I may be off camera, may have minimal editing on these videos or bring you reruns. We have some things we need to deal with here at the Bowers homestead. Looks like it's going to take a bit of time and attention to get settled. That said, grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for June 30th. June 30th is the 181st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 182nd in leap years, with 184 days remaining to the end of the year. Today we're talking about Sunday. Sunday was originally, and still is in some cultures, the first day of the week, and is named after the sun, whether represented by the actual astronomical sun or the Roman god Sol Invictus, who was represented as wearing his sun crown and driving a horse-drawn carriage through the sky, or the Greek god Apollo, who was about sun, light, prophecy, philosophy, truth, logic, inspiration, music, poetry, the arts, purification, medicine, and healing, among quite a few other things. Those all sound like Sunday things to me. In the Germanic languages, Sunday is the day of the sun, as in English, German, and Dutch. And in the Romance languages, Sunday is the day of the Lord. Sunday, in any particular language, may be named after the sun or the Lord, or may be numbered, usually if it's considered the first day of the week in a particular culture or language. There are a few cultures who base their naming of the days of the week on completely different mythology or tradition, such as the Yoruba, who call Sunday Oja Aiku, which means the day of immortality, which, if you think about it, isn't that far off of the Lord's Day. Anyway, here we are, talking about Sunday. Thanks again to Ma from the Cove for suggesting the days of the week. These have been so much fun for me to research and write, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing about them too. And with that, an act to divide the Indiana Territory into two separate governments had been adopted by the U.S. Congress on January 11, 1805, to become effective on June 30, 1805, and so it is that the Michigan Territory was organized on this date. Charles Blondin is one of those fascinating historical figures whose real life almost sounds fictional. The fact that he would stop halfway across a rope suspended over Niagara Falls to cook an omelet or carry someone on his back still amazes people more than 160 years later. He clearly understood that audiences came not just to see him succeed, but to marvel at just how much he dared to risk. Born Jean-François Gravelet in France in 1824, he became one of the world's most celebrated tightrope walkers, famous for his daring crossings of the Niagara Falls. His remarkable balance, confidence, and flair for showmanship captivated audiences throughout Europe and North America, and on June 30th, 1859, he crossed the Niagara Falls on a tightrope. Away from the spotlight, Blondin's personal life was just as eventful. He married 3 times and was the father of 8 children. His first marriage began in France before he moved to America. They had 3 children, and while still legally married, he entered into a second marriage in the United States. That second marriage produced 5 children. Later in life, after suffering a serious back injury, he married yet again the nurse who cared for him during his recovery. Charles Blondin continued performing well into his 70s before retiring, and passed in 1897 from complications of diabetes. He was 72 at the time of his passing. Charles Blondin. On June 30th, 1864, President Abraham Lincoln granted Yosemite Valley to California for public use, resort, and recreation. This is the birthday of singer-songwriter Larry Joel Henley, born June 30th, 1937 in Odessa, Texas. His mother and aunts were country singers, and he originally aspired to be an actor, moved to California in 1957. He won a talent show, got a few gigs. Performing can be a tough biz, though, and after a few years of struggling, he moved to Shreveport to work in the oil fields. His brother-in-law then, on the basis that Larry had enjoyed some success as a singer out in California, convinced Larry to join a local house band. He recorded a few solo records, and once discovered by Mercury Records, called themselves the New Beats. Larry discovered that he could do a pretty impressive falsetto, got a hit, which we'll talk about in a minute. The New Beats toured for a few years, releasing their last single in 1974. Larry became a staff songwriter for Tree International Publishing in Nashville and co-wrote many songs that became hits, including Wind Beneath My Wings. He won a Grammy for that one. Larry Henley was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2012. Sadly, he developed Parkinson's and dementia and passed in December of 2014. He was 77 at the time of his passing. Larry Henley. Today's song is Bread and Butter by the New Beats. Released in 1964, Bread and Butter was the breakthrough hit for the American vocal trio, the New Beats, and remains the group's signature song. Written by Larry Parks and Jay Turnbow, the catchy tune was originally recorded as a demo to help the trio land a recording contract with Hickory Records. The label liked it so much they asked the group to record it professionally, launching a hit that would define their career. The song is instantly recognizable for its simple two-chord piano introduction and Larry Henley's falsetto. Its light-hearted lyrics and infectious melody connected with audiences, propelling it to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it was held out of the top spot only by 2 legendary songs, The House of the Rising Sun by the Animals and Oh, Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison. Bread and Butter also became an international success, reaching the top 15 in the United Kingdom and the top 10 in Australia, while selling more than 1 million copies in the United States and earning a gold record. Bread and Butter has also enjoyed a long afterlife in popular culture, appearing in films, television shows, commercials, and advertising jingles, and has even been covered by such artists as Devo. Over 6 decades after its release, the upbeat sound and memorable chorus of this song have confirmed its status as one of the most memorable pop hits of the 1960s. Bread and Butter by the New Beats, link in the description. How about that? Now, just a reminder again that I'm going to be very busy this week, possibly longer, so I'll probably be off camera, have minimal editing on these videos, or bring you reruns. And I thank you so very, very much for your indulgence and loyalty. For today's quote, I thought this one paired nicely with the piece on Charles Blondin, the tightrope walker, but is certainly applicable in many other areas of life as well, and it is, only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you when I see you.